Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Yeah, Thomas wanted me to make sure you got to see it. It's Wickard versus Phil Byrne. Yeah, there'll be a test later, I guess. You know, this is what it was. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. Legislation was the Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1938 limited the area that farmers could devote to wheat production. The stated purpose of the act was to stabilize the price of wheat in the national market by controlling the amount of wheat produced. Now, of course, it went on, and finally in 42, they were able to, come up with their decision. They decided that the government rules you. So, and there's other cases like this. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So the discussion last night was this. Now, and I know Alan, they gave a rating. At the end of the whole presentation, Bob Levy told how we got screwed from the beginning. In the early 1800s, man, they already had and Hamilton. Hamilton was the guy. He was the guy that did, because what they were going to do, and this is what the Patrick Henry character was going on about. He said, look, he goes, you were only supposed to, tinker with the Articles of Confederation. They were going to do some weights and measures stuff and, how they're going to negotiate currencies and, whatever. It's just a little tinkering. We got, these sovereign states. Well, Hamilton had the plan from the beginning. They locked the doors, made it secret, and said, we're going to do this and do government. And guess what? It's going to have a central authority. Well, that was always the goal. Central bankers. It's like a playbook that they, took from pyramid times or something, man. The secret handshake guys. And if it wasn't this one group, it'd be another group. There's always bad guys. They always want a parasitic class. They call them the ruling elite. There's always some king, monarch, ruler. And if it's competing. You got the East and West and Africa and that. There's always somebody going to rule the planet. And if it's not one of these guys, there may be, I don't know, space aliens or something. There's always somebody who wants to rule you. What was so great about America was the concept of I get to rule myself. How about that? I vote that one, if I'm going to vote. So you have that in competition with always, it gets to the point to where they just suck off of the people, just the masses, to the point to where it's time to cull the herd. We're going to have us a pandemic, a world war, whatever. I mean, whatever it takes, we'll just, reconstitute everything. And they always been wanting to go for this global thing. Oh, but, tighter your fist, more star systems leak between your fingers. So what happened? Bob Levy made a great case for, how we got screwed and why and who did it and so on. But we've had Bob on the show. He was one of the first speakers at Freedom Summit. In our first year, 2001, Bob was one of the speakers, along with Don Boudreaux from George Mason University. Well, Don Boudreaux was another speaker this year at the Freedom Summit. And we pretty much finished with, we'll be done in the next day or two from all the speeches at the Freedom Summit. It takes a long time to load those up and edit them and all that kind of stuff. Sierra's finishing probably today, tomorrow, and we'll start loading those up and we'll let you know and you go see the speeches. Very cool. And we've been working behind the scenes on Freedom's Phoenix to have our own servers and so on, so that, like YouTube and whatever just doesn't go in, oh, blip, you're off. Because we know better. I mean, if you're planning ahead, man, to set things up to not let a central plan for you. So we'll let you know when that's ready. And we'll start putting up all the other Freedom Summit speeches too, because these are great. This is why we know what was coming. A lot of these guys doing this. Now, the thing with Bob, though, is he's with Cato Institute. He's got his own thing. He's an older generation. He's still got a patriotic, nationalistic flavor to him. We got to use the system to fix the system kind of deal. So that's where he and I we go out a little bit. And Mark Victor and I, we were both presenters of one of the amendments there. I think Mark did the 4th and I did the 6th. And it was an interesting event. Bob made a very good case for how we got where we are, but what's the solution? Well, of course, we're going to use the system, fix the system, elect the right people to, whatever. And then we had Gary Johnson. Now, he's former governor of New Mexico that is in hard running for president on the GOP ticket. Now, I talked to him a little bit and see how his campaign was going and everything. And of course, he starts this, it's still exploratory committee. We're not really, blah, 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 blah. You're running, right? Yes. the GOP debates are going to be in May and June. CNN and Fox are going to have them in New Hampshire and South Carolina. I think Fox is in South Carolina, CNN is in New Hampshire, within a month of each other. I think CNN's first and then Fox. Do you plan on being in that? Absolutely. Yep, we're gonna be involved in all of them. Well, when he gave his speech, I mean, he hit on a bunch of stuff. You know, I vetoed a whole bunch of different bills. I did this, I did that, and, you know, and he was better than most. And he gets up and he goes, you know, in the late 90s, I came to the realization of a lot of things. One of them is, you know, this drug war sucks. And he kind of maybe pandied a little bit, you know, well, we'll do medical marijuana, but then we do, you know, the drug war this and that, and we'll regulate, tax, and you got to show ID and, you know, whatever. But the thing is that to this crowd, you know, a Bill of Rights, GOP, Republican kind of coming in, Goldwater Institute, Wrigley Mansion, GOP kind of function, you would think a lot about, you know, probably not even half of the crowd were kind of, what? You know, everybody, yay, boom, boom, clapping, you know, right on. And we need to pull out Afghanistan now. And we need to do this. And we need to do this. So it was kind of, you know, maybe not as strong or as principled as Dr. Paul is. But here you have another star child, you know, of the GOP movement. They're going to put somebody up there. All of a sudden, you have a crowd up there, and you're going to have Huckabee and Romney and maybe Newt Gingrich and Palin and all these guys. But they're not just going to have Dr. Paul taking these positions. You have guys like Gary Johnson. Maybe, you know, Judge Napolitano might get involved in this thing or something, or somebody like them. So all of a sudden you have, and that's one thing Alan was saying. He's going, well, yeah, you know, there's kind of a libertarian bent here now, kind of almost being apologetic to a lot of the supporters there in the GOP. And it was so clear that the culture has changed. So when they got Mark and myself up there presenting, we got our table in the back. Oh, and you Free State Project guys, you know the Don't Tread on Me flag that you have with the porcupine on it? Oh, yeah, we proudly displayed that one. He said, we'll put Freedom's Feet. Now we'll put the porcupine up there. I think that was cool. That kind of caught people off guard. Then we have them speaking, and they're making the case for, you know, how broke it is and so on. But we got to get in there, and we're going to go vote. You know, we're going to go fix it. So a lot of libertarians were just, you know, when Alan said, he goes, yeah, there's kind of a libertarian bent here. There's a lot of libertarians. Mark Victor was in the back room. He runs up the middle of the room and he yells and he goes, no, it's a freedom thing, you know, like, no, slap, 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 slap. So it's changing. It's a culture thing. This is the thing that I keep trying to stress. It's not about voting. It's not about election totals. It's about, that's side effect. It's about freeing your mind. It's a change in the culture. As this is going on, you remember now Senate Appropriations Chairman Russell Pierce. Now, you guys remember that name from SB 1070, you know, the immigration bill, you know, going to get them Mexicans. Well, he and I went at it. I mean, you know, we were back and forth during the time, but I've known Russell a long time. He's been on the show several times. So I know that, you know, I just go up and, hey, Russell, what's up? So we were talking, and it went like this. I go, Russell, let me tell you what I know. I know the state's big time financial trouble. Big, huge, major. And as appropriations chairman, if you don't know this, you know, you need to do some studying. And if you do, you need to, you know, share with everybody because you're not being honest. Now I go, look, there is going to come major upheaval in this state. I know that the federal government is going to go, all right, you want to bail out? You know, we're going to be buying all these. They already started with the municipal bonds, you know, local, just trying to drag this thing out one more, I don't know, month. You know, one more election cycle, certainly get past the holidays or something. But this is all going to come tumbling down. It won't happen all at once, but it will happen overnight. And the overnight is coming. Man, you better be getting some gold and silver. Now, I know Thomas wants to go on and on about this gold thing. We may talk about that another time. But this is what happened. Russell, are you going to be making deals with the federal government? Is it going to come with strings? You know, they're going to say you're not allowed to resist, which means the state's going to be counted on to put down resistors. Yeah, we'll talk about what he had to say when we come back. I'm scared, man. You should be too. What are we going to do about it? We'll talk about it. See you right there.